particularly now during the pandemic. And we have heard so much trauma from our constituents. If there's any member in this House that does not believe Canadians have been through trauma these past 2 years, they clearly have not been doing their job and listening to their constituents, Mr. Speaker. It has been horrific, the things that I've heard. We hear young children who are so depressed they don't want to eat. Eating disorders are through the roof. We've heard seniors and elderly in our care homes who've opted for medical assistance in dying rather than live one more month through isolation in care homes. I have had widowed elderly women call and cry to me on the phone of how lonely they are and they don't want to go on. I've had grown men who've called me crying because their businesses are falling apart. We know divorces, abuse at home, alcohol dependency, drug dependency, all of these terrible things are up in our country because people are just trying to cope and are breaking down. So from that perspective, I don't really see what's going on across the country as all that surprising. To me, it seems like an eruption of something that's been simmering of pain and trauma and frustration for 2 long years. And governments have not been listening to that pain and trauma, despite having rapid test, vaccines, and all different types of tools and scientific knowledge. Governments have repeatedly relied on harsh lockdown measures and divisive mandates to control this virus. Meanwhile, we are seeing a Prime Minister who today got up in the House and again othered Canadians who don't agree with him. This is a man for 6 years said diversity is our strength, but if anybody doesn't agree with everything he says, you're in the bad books and you don't get a chance to be heard. You don't have a right to be heard. And again, last week,